and welcome. This is Heidi's Homemade and I'm Heidi. Hello, and this is a video all about cross stitch. This is episode number 56. So if you've watched before, thank you for watching and thank you for coming back. If you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. Today I will have a lot of stuff to show you. So it's been about a month, unintentionally, since I filmed last, and I had spring break in that time period, so I got a lot of stuff done over spring break, a lot of stitching. I think I stitched every single day. I think I stitched every single day over spring break, so I have a lot of stitching to show. I've been letting my tiny decisions wheel make decisions for me. And it's been kind of fun. I'll talk about that a little bit more as I get into the whips. But I have fully finishes. I have some finishes. I have some new starts. I have some whips, otherwise known as works in progress. I have some haul to show you, and I have some other crafting works in progress to show you as well. So I have a full video for you today. So as I said, spring break happened. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am a teacher, an 8th grade English teacher, and we had spring break a few weeks ago. We actually just got done doing our state testing, so the week that feels like 2 weeks for both the students and the teachers has just finished. So yay, that's all, from there. So there's only like 5.5 weeks left of school. So it's the countdown, I think, has begun. And so yeah, that's what's going on outside of stitching. Yeah, that's pretty much it outside of stitching. So let's dive right into stitching, shall we? So here is my planner. This is March. I filmed on this day. There's my Flosstube right there. And after that, after I filmed, I went and finished a bunch of stuff, some FFOs. So you'll be able to see all that stuff. And then every day I stitched on something, except for here when I went back to school. You can tell that this was the end of spring break, and then I went back to school. But then I stitched pretty consistently every day. There's only in March 4 days that I did not stitch in March, so that is excellent. April is not shaping up to be that way though. So April starts here. This is my April pages, and I did not stitch on the 1st, and then I did not stitch a couple days this week, so we will see how April goes. It's been busy with school stuff and everything, so we will see how April goes. After this week, it should get a little easier for me to be able to stitch at night, but we will see. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm not entirely happy with my planner choice. This is a 3-year planner, which is what drew me to it to begin with, because then I can have multiple years in the same planner and not have to have a bunch of different planners. However, because it's multiple years in the same planner, there's not a lot of space to write anything. And even when I was filling out, when I did all my finishing, it was very hard for me to write all the things that I finished and whatever I stitched on that day. So I felt like I was squeezing it all in the one little box. So I'm still not sure that I'm going to continue with this planner. I might use it for the rest of the year and then maybe get something for next year. I'm not sure. But it was definitely something that's not super happy with it and will probably change in the future, but isn't top priority on the extra expenses list. So yeah, I'd rather, if it came down to buying a new planner or buying a new pattern, I would probably buy the new pattern because. So anyway, you saw how busy my month was. So let's get into some of the fully finishes that I did. So a couple, I know at least one of them is a new finish that I don't know if I have shown on my channel yet. That one, I might as well pull that out since I'm talking about it. That one is, I know I posted on my Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, Heidi's Homemade 81 on Instagram, you would have seen this picture, but not the fully finish. So this is my fully finish of Jolly Squirrel by Pigeon Coop Designs. It is on, I think it's 16 count Fern Opalescent from My Vintage Needle Arts. So it does have that shimmer in the fabric. And I did use the called for colors. And when I knew I wanted to finish this guy in a hoop because he just kind of, he fits. So I have not, honestly, don't know if I've ever finished anything in a hoop before. So I did have to look up how to finish in a hoop. So, I mean, you would think as long as I have been cross stitching since I was like 7, 8 years old, I really don't think I've ever finished anything in a hoop. So I had to look it up. And I followed the Caterpillar cross stitch videos to finish it in the hoop. And I am very happy with the way that he came out and the way that other ones that I finished like this came out. So again, this is Jolly Squirrel from Pigeon Coop Designs. Super cute. Very happy with how he came out. So there's finish number 1, fully finished number 1. Moving on. Caterpillar Cross Stitch, one of their bi-monthly subscription boxes that I used to get. This is, I don't know, Lighthouse? I'm not sure what this one is called. It was one of their monthly subscription boxes. And I was kind of on a roll after finishing a couple of these in a hoop, and I wanted to finish a bunch of stuff. And I wanted to get some stuff that had been kind of lingering in my finish bin. I wanted to get it all fully finished. As many things as I could possibly think of at the moment. So I picked out a bunch of stuff that was very hoop friendly and just finished it. I might go back and add stuff to some of these that are hoop finishes, but for now they are finished, fully finished, and they're fine. So this is that one. I do not remember if this is a Caterpillar cross stitch design or a different person's design that they put into the box. But it's not really my style. I was thinking that it would be more of a good thing to have finished and ready to go for like a smalls exchange. Because this is a 6-inch hoop, so obviously it is smaller than 6x6. So there's that one. And then another Caterpillar cross stitch bi-monthly box subscription one. And this was, I want to say this is one of the first ones that they sent me. And I really don't remember what this one's called either. I think it's still available on their website though. It's on a really pale pink fabric. I don't know how well that's showing up, but it is a very pale pink fabric. It's probably washing out a little bit. But this one, and I might end up putting this some kind of bow or something on it. I don't know. I was also looking at the frames that are available on like Amazon, that you can get like a 6-pack of frames that you pop the hoop right into. So I was looking at those as well to see if maybe that would be something that I would like to do sometime in the future. Then this is the last hoop finish that I have. This is also a Pigeon Coops design, and this was also one of the Caterpillar Cross Stitch bi-monthly box designs. In Caterpillar Cross Stitch, it's called Climb Every Mountain, and it's a slightly different colorway than what he has available on his website. I don't remember, I think it's called A Walk Through the Pines or something like that on his website, but it is definitely available on Pigeon Coop Design's website. So there's that. So those are all of the hoop finishes that I did. Then I did a couple frames and a couple other types of finishes. So the next one I did is this guy. This is Primrose Cottages, Winter Wishes and Snowman Kisses. I finished this the same way that I did the Harvest Wishes finish. So this is a frame from the dollar store that I spray painted to match the other one that I spray painted. And framed it like that. Very simple, very easy. He goes up in here in my honeycombs because I put stuff out whenever I feel like it, and I don't care if it's seasonal. So I stitched it, I want to see it, so that's how that goes. Now this one is a banner that I did. It wasn't designed to be a banner, but I thought it looked really cute this way. So this is a bunch of patterns, three different patterns from Stitching with the Housewives. There's Lemonades for Sale is this one. Hello Summer in the center, and then Fresh Lemonade is the last one over here. And I just basically strung them up on, hang on, this one's twisted. There we go. Strung them up on some rickrack and tied some bows. And I thought that they made a really cute, like, summer banner. And I'm debating whether I want to put, like, one bow, like, right in the center, but I'm not sure if I want to. I'm not sure. But these are, I've had these finished for a very long time. I think they've been sitting in my finish bin for at least a year while I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with them. So that is what I decided to do. So that was 3 fully finishes in that one. Okay. Another Stitching with a Housewife design is this one. This one was designed to say, I think it said "Be Mine" at the bottom, and I didn't want it to be a Valentine's thing because I don't really decorate for Valentine's, so I left that off, and I think it looks fine that way. So this is a little cutting board thingy, not meant for food, that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's one of their, it's under wall decor, so I picked it up when wall decor was on sale. And I just finished it on sticky board and another sticky board for a complementary kind of sage color that matches the sage that's in, like, the leaves. And the board already had this pattern on it, so it made it super easy. I put a bow around the handle and called it a day. I thought it came out really cute. It will stand on its own, so I can literally put it anywhere. But I could also hang it, whatever I decide to do with it. Right now, it was living in my fully finished bin because I have one of those too. So that's that. And the roses are 2 different colors, but it's a little bit washed out in my camera. And if I had done this again, I would probably make, because this is like a coral and this is a red, but they look very similar, especially on the black fabric. I probably would have done this in like a pink instead of a coral so that it would stand out just a little bit more. But I think it's cute. It came out cute. So there's that one. And then my final fully finished to show you is this one, which I just finished a little while ago. I'm pretty sure I showed it when I finished it. This one is Apothecary. This one is from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 22, I think, maybe 23. But I got the frame. This is a Hobby Lobby Oops frame. So the frame itself costs, the tag is still on it. The frame itself cost $8. And I thought, like, with the design of the frame, it kind of lent itself to this pattern. I think it came out really cool looking with the metallic threads and the spider web. So very happy with how this one is. So those are all of my fully finished items. Okay, I'm like, don't fall. Okay, and the frames, I don't typically put glass in because they don't need it. If I was planning on putting them in like the kitchen or the bathroom, I would put glass in it to protect the fabric from moisture and all that stuff. But since they're not going to be in either one of those rooms, I don't typically put glass in them. Okay, on to finishes. So this one, I am so glad that I am finally done with this one. I have restarted this pattern 3 times, and it's just a little pattern. It is what it is, but I finally have it finished. So here is my Scandi Christmas. This was from Just Cross Stitch Christmas 22, I think, the ornament book. And I had originally started it for a 12 by 12, and I started it on 18 count white, and I started it with 2 threads, and I wasn't liking it because I was stitching the negative space in the whites the way that the pattern was written, and I really just was not liking it. The colors were kind of bleeding together and I didn't like it. So I tossed that. I started over again on a different piece of 18 count white, and I started it with 1 thread, and it was looking fine, except for as I was stitching, I noticed that the fabric was crooked. And I only had like the bottom row in at that point. And I'm like, is that going to bother me as I continue stitching or when I go to finish it? And I decided yes, it was going to bother me because the fabric was very obviously crooked. And so I restarted it, and this is on King's Gold by My Vintage Needle Arts, and this is 18 count King's Gold. And I used, I think they're the called for red and teal color. I did not do the white because I thought that the blank space looked very good in the yellow, and I didn't feel like it needed the whites. But I am very happy with the way that it came out, and this is 1 thread on 18 count. And that's probably about true color right there. So that one's finally done, and I'm very happy that it is finally done. So I'll put that there. And then my next finish for now, it's not fully finished, but it's finished for now, is Turtle Doves from Satsuma Streets. I have not put the beads in, so it's just the cross stitch that is finished. And do I have something that I can put behind it? There we go. So that is turtle doves. And then I noticed as I was going through my bag that has all these in it, that this guy was not fully finished. I thought he was. I apparently ran out of whites and never went back and finished it after I refilled the white in my project bag. So I then went back and finished stitching Ring-a-Ding Santa. Obviously, I have not finished beading him either. I'm waiting until I finish like all of the ornaments, and then I'm going to go back and bead everything and then make them into their ornaments. And then, you know, of course, every year she puts out new ones, so I don't know if I'll ever be fully finished with all of them. But once I finish the ones that I have currently, I will. Because I'm like halfway through the ones that I have currently. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll just get a spark and want to bead. I don't know. So, but to me, like there's not enough beading on the one to make it worth it. But like if I have several of them, then I will sit and bead all of them at the same time with their sequins and all that stuff. And those are all, I didn't buy the kits for any of those. So it's all the beads and sequins and stuff are stuff from my stash, like stuff I had. Okay, next finish is I am working on the 12 monthly minis from Primrose Cottage. And I'm doing one a month as of right now. And it seems to be working out fairly good for me. I stitched, so I guess, I last videoed on the 11th, so I have two to show you actually. So I stitched the March one on St. Patrick's Day, and I used the call for colors, which are two greens, and it's very difficult to see that there's two different colors of greens on there. In person, you can see it, but even in person, it's a little difficult to see that there's two different greens. And this is on 20 count raw, and I have enough of these scrap pieces of raw to do all 12, so they will all be on this raw color. And then on March 30th, my Tiny Decisions wheel decided that I needed to stitch on Primrose Cottage, so I pulled out the monthly minis and decided to do April's. So I did April's on March 30th using the call for colors. And these are such quick little stitches. This one I stitched up in about 2.5 hours. So very happy with how these are coming out. And this has the first 4 months on it. So there's that. Back in there. Okay, and that finishes up my finishes for the last month. Fully finishes and finishes. Now on to some new starts. So on my Tiny Decisions wheels, I have my whips. I also have designers, because I have a few whips started from a couple different designers. Like I have multiple ink circles, I have multiple Durene Jones, I have multiple Primrose Cottages started. So I have the whips listed and I have designers. So if I have multiples, then I get to choose which one I would like to stitch on that day. And I typically do a day unless I'm doing a new start. If I'm doing a new start, sometimes I will give it a day or 2 or 3, depending on the size of the pattern or how into the pattern I am when I'm stitching it. So, moving on. One of the new starts that I have, because I am stitching the Satsuma string ornaments, and let me put the picture out so that you're not seeing the pattern. Once I finished Turtle Doves and then went back and finished Ring-a-Ding Santa, because apparently he wasn't and I thought he was, I started Mitten Kitten, which is super cute. I was going to say not too terribly much in the beading, but I guess there is in the... So I started Mitten Kitten, and just gave it a nice little start. And that's what I have. I tend to be a center starter, so that's where you'll see where most of my starts at. So this is the ribbing of the mitten, where the hand goes, and then the kitten's coming up. Here's his paws, or her paws, I don't know. So not a huge start, but a decent start. You can tell which side is up, so that's always a good thing. But that will be my next one that I work on for that. And that one, those I will kind of pick up if I'm stitching on something really tiny and my eyes get tired, but I really am not ready to stop stitching. I will pick that up because the holes are really easy to see because of the paper. So there's that. Okay, so, and these are not in any particular order that I'm showing you. They're just all new starts. Okay, so this one, when my wheel told me to start something new, I think it said start new holiday or new small or something like that. I'm not sure. This one I've had kitted for a while. This is Loveable Petites by Little House Needleworks. And it's like their Valentine's one. And I've had it kit up for a very long time with the called for red pear from Weeks Dye Works. It's the 30 count. I think it's 30 counts. It's the called for. And I want to use this fabric for Ladybug Picnic that I got from Market. So I needed to figure out how much I had left after doing these, because I knew I wanted these, I just hadn't stitched them yet. So I went ahead and started them. So this is here it is. Oh, geez. Talk about stopping mid-stitch. Literally the needle like halfway through the fabric. Okay. Pull that to the back. Okay. So this is what I have for my start. Oh, this is 35 count, not 30 count. I was like, why would I pick 30 count? 35 count red pear. And I should have basically, so these are going to be this one, this one, this one, this one. So I should have this whole piece here to be able to do Ladybug Picnic. So that's my thoughts. I will probably, now that I'm looking at it, I will probably cut this piece off so that I can go ahead and get that other one kitted up. And whenever my wheel says I can start it, I'll start it. It tells me to start new stuff a lot, but because it does seem to have favorites. I don't know if you guys have and I think I said this in my last video, if you guys have used the Tiny Decisions wheel, let me know, does it seem to have favorites? So what I did, because it seems to have favorites, is instead of refreshing the wheel like every time, I'm not letting it refresh. I just keep going, and so it blacks out anything that's already been picked. And then either at the end of the month, or if there isn't enough to spin, then I will reset it. So chances are you're going to see a lot of my whips. So, and I keep adding because he keeps telling me to start new stuff. So I keep adding more whips, so there's going to be a little bit more. But it's okay. I don't really care. I don't care how many whips I have. When I was trying to downsize a little bit, I did care, but now I don't. So it's okay. So, all that to say, the next thing I started is, show it to the picture. Okay. So, Nath Nolu designs on Etsy. I first found her designs on Instagram, and one of the ones that I started, that I showed in my last video that I haven't stitched on to show you again, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to have that pattern. And she has a lot of really cute patterns. This is one I picked up when I picked up Cozy Nest. And I went back recently and picked up a few more patterns that I'll show you in my haul. But this is the one that I started so far. This is Winter Songbird. And the color on this is slightly off on the pattern because I was using my old printer and it was slightly off on its shading. It wasn't printing right, so obviously, old printer. I have since got a new printer, and you will see the difference when I start showing you the stuff I printed for that. But this is what he looks like, and I am stitching him on 18 count Harvest Moon from Forbidden Fiber Co. And since I didn't know how I wanted to finish him, I just used the whole piece I had left. This is the whole piece I had left from another thing, and this is what I have so far. And I need something. There we go. So this is, about 3 days of stitching. And honestly, I probably could have continued and just finished him, but I wanted to do something else. So I really like the pattern. The pattern is super easy to read. I am trying a new system with the floss on this one, and I'll show you here in a sec. Let me pull it out. Has anyone ever used these? If you have, leave me a comment below. I've had this for years. Literally years. And I'm like, you know what? I need to pull that out and play with it and see if it's something that I would actually want to use on an ongoing basis. So essentially the idea is that you have your thread and it's wrapped around like a little post, and then there's like squishy that you put your needle into here. So like as you are working, this one was a very good one to try it with because it switches colors a lot. There's a lot of almost confetti stitching. So I thought that this would be a good time to take this out and try it. Oh, excuse me. And I'm still on the fence. I kind of like it when I'm stitching on it for like a couple days. I'm not sure how much I'm going to like it now that I've put it away and will pull it out next time it gets pulled, like next time it gets picked on my wheel. Because I'm not in any hurry to finish like any of my stitching. So it'll get finished when it gets finished, or if I get a bug and want to finish stuff, I will pull out something that's close to being finished and finish it. The only one that I might focus on a little bit is Haunted Mansion, simply because it's very, very close to being done, and my friend offered to do the back stitching to finish it for me. I mean, not fully finish it, just the back stitching, because I hate back stitching. So there's that. All right, so Market. I did start a couple of things from Market, and I think I might go ahead and show you what I got and the starts. That way it's all together. So I'm going to go ahead and do like parts of my haul now, along with my new starts from Market. So let's see. Let me grab these. Okay. So first thing I picked up from Market, and I picked this all up in different orders, and it was then combined. And I ordered from Lindy Stitches, and she combined all the different orders together and refunded extra shipping and stuff like that. So that was very nice. So I picked up JBW Around Bees. I really enjoy these little JBW patterns. I have done several. I haven't done any of the in the rounds yet. I have a few. I have done several of the French country ones, but they all have the same vibes. So this is definitely something that I will probably start sooner rather than later. These are typically a very quick stitch for me. It would just be a matter of finding the fabric I want to use and the thread that I want to use. So there's that one. And I've mentioned this a couple times. So Ladybug Picnic I picked up. And I think that red pear is going to work just fine. It's going to be very, very similar to the pomegranate that is called for. So there's that one. And then I picked up Strawberry Thieves, Pinkeep, by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. And I like it because it has like 4 different patterns. So there's that one, this little strawberry that's like a little pin book, and then this one and this one. And I just thought that they were really cute. And the birds are kind of different, so I like that. So there's that. Then I had my eye on this when it was released as a limited edition, like Patreon type thing. So when it was finally released for Market, I knew I had to get it. So this is Within a Dream. So A Dream Within a Dream. And it has the different chart options, so that if you don't want to do the whole big thing, you can do it in the individual sections. I have no idea what I'll do, but it is, I do really, really like it. I mean, right now I'm kind of leaning towards doing the whole big one, but we will see when I actually pick it up and start working on it, which one I choose to do. Okay, and then the last thing that I actually ordered from Market is this one. Well, not the last thing. I have 2 more, but this is the last thing I have ordered that I have not started. We'll put it that way. This is Hello by Liz Matthews, and this is Fanciful Flowers. I really liked the colors in this one. And it has a very Quaker kind of feel to it. So it's not too big. On 18 count, which is typically what I would do, it's 8 1/8 by 7 3/8. So it's not a very big pattern. Okay, so then the ones that I've started are Bumblebee Etchings from Heart and Hand. So I started that one on 18 counts. This is another scrap piece of Forbidden Fiberco. And I think this is like toasted marshmallow or something like that. So this is what I have. I'm using the called for colors, which are a combination of classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and Weeks Dye Works. So I've almost got this B-skep done. So this is a pretty quick stitch, actually. This was like 2 days of stitching. So if I didn't have the need to stitch on multiple things, I could probably get that one done fairly quickly. And I was debating on that one, whether I wanted to do each individual piece as a separate thing, or if I wanted to do it all together. So decided to do it all together, but that does not necessarily mean that I might not pick it up again after and stitch individual pieces at some point. There's that one. And then the other one that I started from Market is Heartstring Sampleries, An Ode to Libraries. And if you're not familiar with this one, it says, the very existence of libraries affords the best evidence that we may yet have hope for the future of humanity. So, very pretty. It's a very good size too. I am doing it 18 count earthen. And this is what I have so far. It's not going to go all the way across. It's going to be like around here, I think. No, it's going to be just past libraries. So it's going to stop right around here. But I didn't want to cut it out yet until I get to the bottom of it, so I know like how big to cut it, because I don't want to cut it twice. So once I get there, I will cut out so that I will have a little bit of extra pieces to do ornaments or something with. But the words are going quick, as words for me typically do. I started in the corner here until I got down to the words, and then I took the words across. So. And I did do a floss toss on this, and I am using the Call for Colors. Which are a combination of classic Colorworks, Week Dye Works, and a couple DMCs. And they're really looking good on this fabric. So the only one that is kind of ghosting a little bit is the eggshell for the stems of the mushrooms so far. But in person, you can see them. On the camera, they definitely look kind of ghosty. But I think once I start filling in some more stuff around it, that you might be able to see them a little bit better. So I'm not too worried about that. So that is what I got and started at Market. Now, moving into whips. And this almost feels like a whip parade because of how long this video is going to be. Okay, so quickly, but not too quickly. We have trying to pull this out. Okay, so caterpillar cross stitch. How does your garden grow? And I didn't stitch on this for too much, but long enough to, I guess, show you that I did stitch on it. So I finished the swirl of the snail, and then I came up and I did the lavender flowers here. So that is what I added. Not a lot, but I definitely worked on it, so there it is. And a new color, so that's good too. Okay, sorry. Someone was walking by with a dog, and so I paused it just in case. Okay, moving on. Next up is Haunted Mansion by Bendy Stitchy. And this one is so close to being done. It's so close to being done. So I am... This is on 18 count mulberry wine from My Vintage Needle Arts. And so I am working on this part here. So the outline that goes, that mimics this side. So I'm working on putting in the etoile that goes through here, which is kind of a pain because it's slow going, and so there's that, and then it's the same for the little bit that's here, and I think there's a couple little places that I need to go back and add just a couple stitches from where my thread like just ran out and I never went back and filled it in because I never got to that color again. So very, very close. If I gave it a good couple hours, I'd probably have all the cross stitching done. And then I could decide if I wanted to take my friend up on her offer to do my back stitching. Which I might, because there's a lot of back stitching. It's a lot of back stitching. So there's that. Next, okay, well this one actually, technically I have like a little finish and a start. So this is Stoneware Pinpillows number 3. I did 1 and 2 already, and those are the pillows that are on my tree. And I am working on the third and final set now. So this is what they look like. And these are all patterns that are based on the antique blue pottery, like blueware, like stoneware that has the blue painting on it. So I finished this guy, and this is on 36 count vintage country mocha. I finished him, and then I have just a little bitty start, which I left the needle in so I knew where it was on this guy. And this is going to be which one is that going to be? I think it's going to be the big leaves. Yeah. It is going to be this one here when it is done. So just a little start, basically what was left on my needle when I finished the flower. But it is moving along way faster than it was when I wasn't working on it. So there's that. I'll put those back in. Because this had been started for a while, and I just did not feel the need to pick it up and work on it because I had finished the other 2 sets, and my Tiny Decisions wheel decided that it likes this pattern, so it's has been coming up with that one fairly frequently. So that one might actually see, because I usually get like at least half the pattern for the one the pillow is done each time I sit down and work on it. All right, the next one that I have to show you is Nevermore by Lila Studio. And this one had been kind of in time out for a little while because I didn't have enough floss. And so I was kind of at a pause trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But now that I've decided what I'm going to do, I'm good. I'm just going to keep going, and so yeah. This is what I have. So the last time that I showed it, I should have been done with these, and I was working on this black that goes across the top. So I picked it up and put in this whole thing here. So it's not, it is much brighter in person. The teals in that really pop, but in my lighting I can't seem to find a good spot that it pops. So that is so far the only non-Forbidden Fiber Co. floss that I'm using. It was the Forbidden Fiber Co. conversion that I bought, and there wasn't enough to do 2 threads on 18 count. So I had to figure out what I was going to do, because at least one of the colors I was not able to find on their website. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And that I decided, so the blue teal color that I just added is Mediterranean Sea by Gentle Arts. And on camera it looks blue, but in person it's very teal. And I thought that it complemented the abyss color that it was supposed to be quite well. It's just a little darker. But since they're not right next to each other in the pattern and they're different motifs, I was okay with that. So that one will be full steam ahead as I continue getting that one drawn on my wheel. And next up is Night Signs by Tiny Modernist. I did start this one as a 12 by 12, which I did more like a 7 by 12, And I'm stitching them all together like this. It's going to be quite small because I'm stitching it on 20 count. So I'm stitching it on 20 count charcoal. And this is what I have so far. So I'm almost done with the moon. There's just a little bit more of the moon. And then I can start adding in all the flowery stuff that goes into the moon and around the moon. And once I get done with that, then I can move on to the next square. It is kind of slow going, I feel. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because it's on 20 counts or if it's the charcoal or what it is. It was a lot of like white stitching, but I'm only using one thread, so there's no problem with it laying funny. So yeah, I don't know. Next up, I stitched on this last weekend when I was at AZ Stitchers, and I hadn't stitched on this for a while, so I was actually kind of happy to pull this out and stitch on it. So this is from the 1900s, so please be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s. And I would like to have this done actually before next school year. I would like to put it in my classroom for next school year. So this is on a me dyed fabric. It's one of my first me dyed fabrics actually. And this is what I have so far. I have added in the highlighting colors, which is orange and brown, and I am not super happy with the brown. It blends so much with the green that you almost can't see it. In person, when you're looking directly at it, you can see the brown, but it's really hard to see. But I'm also like, I don't know if that makes a difference to me, because it gives it a nice blended kind of quality, and I kind of like that as well. The one thing I will have to do is the words, the I'm from the 1900s that goes in this spot, I will have to change that to the orange instead of the brown so that it will actually show up. So that I will have to change, but other than that, I don't see a problem with it kind of blending with the green. And it looks very nice, like filled. Like I'm really liking it. But I put in quite a few stitches on this since the last time you saw it. And once I get done with this part, then I'll move up and do the upper part, obviously. But I anticipate this going into like an 8x10 type frame. Maybe some kind of matting. I'm not sure. It depends what size I end up having to put it in, or what I can find. I am using Weeks Dye Works, and these are the colors that I'm using. I'm using Collards, Cocoa, and Carolina Cecil for my colors. And I might need, I will need to pick up another Collards in order to finish it. Which I think is one of the reasons why I went down instead of up, because I should have enough to finish that little sign thing because it's mostly orange and not green. So there's that. Moving on. This one I picked up last night because my Tiny Decisions wheel told me that I needed to work on Dorian Jones. So I picked up whatever. The Green Man. This was my leap year start. And it's a good thing it's a leap year start because this has a lot of stitches. I don't know if I'll have it done by the next leap year, to be honest. Not if I only pick it up and work on it a few hours at a time. So I am this far. I'm stitching on 20 count Mimosa green, and this whole leaf now is done. So one leaf is done. Yay! This one here is very close to being completely filled in. And then once he's filled in, then this one should also be filled in. The blending of the colors is very pretty. I don't know if it's coming across quite as well on screen as it does in person, but it is very pretty. Then, so that's what I have for that. And I do not know where the needle minder is from. It was given to me as a gift, so I don't know where it's from. But it went very well with that pattern, so I put it with that pattern. Then, and I'm sorry if you can hear the kids outside that are playing on the playground. Next up is Forest Home by the Blue Flower. And this one is let's see. So this is my piece. It is raw. It is a 20 count raw. I'm sorry. 40 count raw, not 20 count. And my Primrose Cottage ones are on 40 count raw, not 20 count raw. And so I went in and I added the variegated thread for the blue, and then I came over here and started in on the trees that are over on that side. So slowly but surely that one is getting stitched on. And one more for my whips. This one is Pine Crossing. This was one of my New Year's Eve starts. And I am stitching this one, on, I just lost a needle threader there. I'm stitching this on 16 count Silvery Star from my Vintage Needle Arts. And this is what I have so far. So I added in this tree, and I think I know I've added this part in here. So he's coming along. I'm kind of going like tree by tree kind of thing. But this one's kind of fun because like as you finish a tree, you're like, oh, I finished. So that's fun. Unfortunately, he doesn't really fit in the bag because the fabric is too big and I haven't trimmed it at all. So it's not going to be quite that big, but I don't want to trim it until I know like how I'm going to finish it. I don't know. Okay, so that's all of my whips. Good thing because this video is going to be long. Now moving on to the rest of my haul. Yes. Okay. Sorry. So because I wanted to start Ode to Libraries and be etching, I had like 3 colors that I still needed from those to do the colors that was called for. So I stopped into the attic. And because you can't just buy floss, I picked up a couple patterns. So this one is technically still Market, but I did not order it. I did not pre-order it from Market. So I got Bun Bun, from the Artsy Housewife, and my friend Katie wants to start this with me. So I am actually going to be dyeing some fabric to do this. So I'm going to be dyeing enough to make 2 because she wants to start it with me on whatever color I decide that I'm going to do it on. So, yeah. And this has a combination of Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and DMC for the threads. So yeah, I'm going to be pulling the threads and seeing the colors, and then I will start my dyeing process, which is going to be on 18 count Aida, and then by the time the dyeing process is done, it's going to be more almost like a 20 count. So it'll be a little bit smaller. Then I also picked this one up at the attic. This is the Scarlet House, and it is the Canine Quotes number 2. I don't know what the number 1 is. I might have to look for that one. But it says, please understand I am only taking new friend requests from dogs. The next one is, I'm just my dog's treat dealer. And the dog travert is a noun, a person who prefers spending time with dogs rather than people. There was the sample of this one on the table, and I really thought it was super cute. And of course it was itty bitty because it was the attic. And yeah, so I had to get that. So there's that. Then I have been watching eBay and have got a few things on eBay. Well, I had my eye on this particular pattern for a while from the Blue Flower, and I've been on the fence because it is a sampler, and I don't like samplers because I don't like stitching the alphabet a lot. So this one, Moonlight Sampler, so if you're not familiar with this one, it says, though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. And all the animals, all the flowers. I thought about doing something different down here than the alphabet, but there's really nothing I could do without taking the animals out, and the animals are kind of what make it. So this one, I will probably, when I decide to start it, I will probably do it as is. Even though it has the alphabet on it. So I picked up that and this one together in an eBay auction thingy. And this one is the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. Now, you're going to say, Heidi, that's a sampler. It is. But I'm going to change the letters. I think I'm going to put, so I think I want to do this to put into my classroom. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some kind of quote to put up here. And then I'm going to put like Miss Clayson's classroom across here in this section, which should not be very hard to rechart for that. So that's what I'm thinking, because our mascot is grizzly bears and like bear. Like, it makes sense to me. So I think this one might actually get a start before the other one, simply because this one I have a plan for. And I think it would be really cool in my classroom. So I will have to come up with a quote that would work for this. But yeah. So, Huckleberry Farm. As I know, it's a sampler. I know this one's a sampler too. But I do like them, so maybe edging a little into sample land, but not fully, because I still bulk at stitching alphabets a lot. So there's that. All right, next up, I told you that I had gotten more of the Nath Nolu cross stitch designs. So, first one up, and I ran out of staples, so I could not staple these together. Ghost Shadow, and again, her shop is on Etsy, and it's super, super cute. And I have like a dark purpley color that I'm thinking would look really cool with this one. So there's that one. And then I picked up, she just released this one, which is Spring Songbird to go with Winter Songbird. So I'm assuming there's going to also be a Summer Songbird and a Fall or Autumn Songbird. So I picked up this one as well, and I'm thinking that once I finish the winter, then I will probably start on this guy. Some of the colors I think are the same. The main bird color I think is the same, so I might not have to pull as many colors. The next one that I picked up from her shop was Blossom Cow. How cute is that? I have plans for this one already. I need to figure out sizing because I have something I want to finish it on. So I need to figure out sizing, and I need to do it soon because I'm thinking that this one's going to be my smalls exchange for StitchCon. But I'm not going to say much more than that because surprise, right? But I'm thinking it's going to be super cute for that. So, there's that. All right, the last thing that I have is this guy that I picked up off of the freebie table at AZ Stitchers. And it is a box, and like each panel is done separately, and then you like stitch it together. I don't know, it's cute. This is by Blackberry Rabbit, and it's called the Garden Box. 2019. I'm not familiar with this designer, so not sure. But I thought it was super cute, so I was like, cool. Even if I just did the individual patterns by themselves. So yeah. All right. So that is all of my stitchy things. Did want to mention a couple Flosstubes that I've watched recently. New Flosstuber that has just started putting Flosstubes out and is doing a great job at that is Jason Cross Stitches. I think he's only put out like 2 videos so far, but both of them are very good, and I've been showing them to my friend, and I'm like, see, guys cross stitch too. And so I taught him how to cross stitch, and he's been liking it, so we will see. But Jason, you're doing a great job. If you see this, I think you've been doing good. So I've been watching him, and then I've been watching all my regulars that I usually watch. Just Keep Stitching, Sunshine Stitchers, Helen D, Sarah Stitchery, 2 Needles Pulling Thread. I watch a lot of videos. They make excellent background, so there's that. So yeah, I will link them in my description box below. I always have links of people that I watch a lot. Okay, that being said, I do want to show you, where is it? There it is. Because I do more than just cross stitch, I have been itching to do other things lately. I got a new a new to me sewing machine that I got on eBay that I need to unbox and set up and make sure that everything works on it. Because my 2 sewing machines that I currently have are broken. Like, they need actual repairs, not just like a service. So since that's going to cost me upwards of $200, I was like, okay, how can I do this without spending like a ton of money and, whatever, and still be able to sew stuff. So I picked up a sewing machine on eBay. I spent like $38, $16 on the actual machine, and the rest was shipping. And so I'm hoping that it will be enough to get what I want to do done on it. But that is a later today project, to pull that out of the box and start working on it. So what I have also been doing over spring break, especially, is doing some crocheting. So I picked up some, and I have not tied in my ends yet. I have not weaved in my ends yet. So I have been making a couple of washcloths, and these are 100% cotton. So I was able to get 2 out of the skein of yarn, so I made a couple of washcloths. And I started a new sweater, and I have half of it done. So sleeves, I literally just have to do the other half. And this is a one piece. This just happens to be where I ran out of yarn before I tied more yarn in. So it's just a very, very lightweight, like pullover sweater. And I'm liking it. It's very fun to stitch. It goes super fast. I did this whole thing in about 6 hours. And my arms, so I'm not allergic to many things. I'm allergic to like one thing that I know for sure that I'm allergic to, and that is latex. But I've always had a problem with acrylic yarns. And when I was stitching this is an acrylic blend. My arms, like all through here, were like, looked like I had been out in the sun for days. So I don't think it's the yarn itself. I think it's something that they finish it with, that as you are actively working with it, like flakes off or something, and it irritates my skin. But I essentially had a chemical burn going down both my arms. So I have not picked it up and worked on it for a while because I was waiting for that to go away. Like, to the point where my arm actually started peeling, like I had a sunburn. So this side was worse than this side, but yeah. But so that is what I have been working on in the last month. So I think the way that my schedule has been working out, I think that I'm going to be doing monthly videos, simply because then I will have enough to actually show what I've been working on. And I won't feel like I have to get a bunch of stuff done with everything else that's going on. So if I can do every 2 weeks, maybe during the summer, I will try to do my every 2 weeks, but it's been looking like I'm doing like a video once a month. So I anticipate in about a month that I will have another video out. As always, if you have questions, comments, whatever, go ahead and put them in the comment section below and I will reply. I still do my library meetup. So if you are in the Mesa area and are interested, just shoot me a message and I will reply to you with the information on that. And I have not been doing my Thursday night Zooms. I actually have switched to a different platform, but if anyone is interested in setting up a video stitching time for a group of people or whatever, I am definitely up for that. I am thinking about doing the new Lindy Stitches one. What is she calling it? The Spring Mingle, I think, is what she's calling it. I'm thinking about doing that. I haven't fully decided yet because it's a weekend that I have a bunch of other stuff going on, so I'm not sure if I want to spend the money and not be able to really do a lot with it. But I really like the pattern that Kathy Haberman is doing her class on, so I don't know. I really like that pattern. Anyway, if you got this far, thank you so much for watching. And have a great day. We'll see you next time.